Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Chris with InsideTheU. Thanks for stopping by. Big day today. Miami Hurricanes held their first spring practice. Got to watch a little over 30 minutes of drills in the indoor facility. And as they typically do, they came outside and finished the rest of practice. And if you can see behind me, the ground crew is kind of putting together the field a little bit, doing a little field repair, get ready for practice in 2 days. And look, for me, spring practice is going to be great to watch all of these newcomers. And for me, on defense especially, they brought in a lot of different guys at different positions. You know, the defensive line got some new guys, some new faces, as well as linebacker, and definitely the secondary. The secondary, to me, is going to be the main position to watch for this spring. You know, they brought in a lot of new transfers, both at cornerback and at safety, and also the new defensive coaches that they brought on board. Had a chance to watch, Corey Heatherman go through some drills with the linebackers. I'm going to show it right here so you guys can see some of the ways he's kind of instructing his players. Can't hear it here, but just being out there and being able to listen to him give instructions during the viewing period where I was able to get video and also just watching him brings a lot of energy, and you could see that. And Wesley Bassint, linebacker heading into his senior year, said after practice that Heatherman is one of those guys that brings a lot of energy, and that's what you want to hear about defensive coaches in particular. And so that's good to hear. Cristobal had some good things to say about the defensive coaches, likes Heatherman. And also, this was the main thing I've been talking about with Heatherman ever since he arrived at Miami is he going to run his style of defense here, or in a way kind of adjust to what Miami has with its personnel? And when I talk about that, I mean particularly with the defensive line. He likes that stand-up defensive end. And just watching him go through drills, the defensive line against the offensive line in an inside run drill, I definitely saw one of the ends standing up there. So that is something of note. I'll definitely be curious to see how that goes moving forward. Who's going to kind of handle that spot, standing up a little bit. I think that was good to see, and kind of that rush in spot that made Minnesota so good on defense last year. I thought that was such a key part of his defense. So it is interesting to see that philosophy out here so far, just on day one, but I do expect that. But again, anytime you have a coach, do you adjust to the personnel already on the roster or implement your system? But at least in that sense, definitely saw that. Now, moving back to the secondary, a lot of new faces at cornerback and at safety. And Cristobal spoke about these guys too. He's really excited about the length at the position, particularly at cornerback. He saw it with Carnley there, coming over, Emmanuel there. And then also, he mentioned Ethan O'Connor, another guy that he thinks has good length, a good corner. Xavier Lucas looks good out here today in day one at cornerback. He's excited about Poser over there at safety. So there's definitely some competition that's going to go on. And look, they brought in a lot of new guys. Mix that in with some of the key returners, and I think you're going to have a real tough battle out here in spring ball. And I think some guys are going to rise and some will fall. That's just the nature of it. One of the things that's good about the corners in particular, they're going to get a chance essentially every single day to go one-on-one with the receivers. Saw some one-on-one action. So the cornerbacks will definitely get tested during these one-on-one drills. And the offensive player that I'm going to be most watching this spring is wide receiver JoJo Trader. CJ Daniels dealing with his injury still. So JoJo Trader's got a great opportunity to get a lot of reps, a lot of key reps, and saw a really nice play on a one-on-one drill going against Brantley there. Catches it on the sideline, gets 1 foot in bounds. It certainly looked like it. Again, a really nice play out of JoJo. I thought he was smooth in his cuts, kind of making plays, and it's just a big spring for him. Even though Carson Beck's not out here, to kind of get that chemistry going there with Judd Anderson handling the quarterback responsibilities, as well as Emory Williams. And also good to see Luke Nickel, freshman, out here as well. But I think JoJo, you can't worry about who's throwing him the passes. He's got to make sure he's on point and really has a really positive spring. It's a really important spring for him because of the role he's expected to have in his second season. Another offensive guy that I'm really excited to kind of watch out here, and he's got a new number, and that's running back Jordan Lyle. Switching to number 2 after 21 last year. Just watching him go through drills and thinking what he could possibly become in year 2. I like his speed. He had those long run capabilities. Mark Fletcher's here too, but just really curious to see Jordan Lyle and his development, catching passes out of the backfield, and just his speed element there at the running back spot. I'm very curious to see how he does, but it was good to kind of watch a drill, kind of catching passes a little bit out of the running back spot. So it's good to watch him in particular also on offense. And then flipping it back to the defensive side of the ball, the guy that I'm going to be paying really close attention to and watched him today in drills, and that's rising sophomore defensive tackle Justin Scott. Got some time last year as a freshman, highly regarded recruit. But just watching him out there and going through drills, you know, look, he looks like the biggest defensive lineman they have on the team, you know, and he's switching to number 5. He wore number 98 last year. And look, I'm going to post a link below so you guys can see all the number changes from the returners, but also all the newcomers, because when you watch the videos, and I will have video of drills from today's practice, I'm definitely going to post that soon. But Justin Scott, you know, I just think this is a really important year for him. Again, one of these sophomores that has a great opportunity to have a big role on this team, and I think they need him. I think they need him to be a really good player this year. And I think he's a guy that, after what happened last year in terms of getting some reps and kind of getting some playing time, I think he's a guy that could really emerge, and you're looking for a breakout season out of him. And just watching him go through some drills again today, nothing big, but just watching him out there, I definitely think that he's got a chance to have a good season. They really need him, and I think he fits well into what Corey Heatherman's defense and what he wants to do there because of his skill set, his size, his ability to stop the run, as well as applying pressure on the quarterback. I just think Justin Scott's got a real good chance here to be a good player, and they need him to do that this season. And just sticking on the defensive line, I'm really curious what kind of spring Ruben Bain has. Really interested to see how he performs in the spring, if he can have a big spring to kind of vault himself into a big junior year. Really curious. I'll be monitoring him, really watching him closely coming off of last year. Disappointing year in terms of dealing with injury, didn't have the production that he had a year ago. So I'm very curious to see how he does. But another defensive lineman that stood out to me is freshman Hayden Lowe, a guy with good size at defensive end. Looks to be a guy that can stop the run and the pass, which is ideal. Again, one of those ideal spots that you need to have in this defense, with Heatherman's defense, what he likes on the defensive line. And again, if you didn't know what year Hayden was, you wouldn't think that he's only a freshman, but he looks good out here. And then just kind of moving on a little bit to a linebacker. I think Wesley Bassint coming back, kind of, we said he's working at some middle stuff, but Raul, you know, Aguirre, you know, he's a guy that kind of looking to be that, stepping up into that starting spot at middle linebacker as well, you know, kind of working on both of those guys. That's how you're looking at it right now, with Raul, Popo there, and then Wesley, kind of the two linebackers in this 4-2-5 that coach likes to run. So I think those are the two main linebackers to watch. But look, you know, I was watching Kellen Wiley, he looked good on a drill, has good size, moves well to the sideline, but his size definitely stood out. So linebackers, all these guys, there's a lot of positions to watch. I'm only touching on a few things that I saw today. But again, I'm going to post some clips from practice of different drills that we're able to show, and making sure I'm following all of the policies that has put in place. But again, if you have any comments on spring practice, some guys that I missed, how are guys doing, whatever it might be, guys you're excited about. I only touched on a few guys. And just my final takeaways, there are, and I didn't mention this earlier, but there are so many new faces on this team. So many key guys gone from a year ago, particularly on offense. Obviously it starts with Cam Ward, but so many guys that certainly impacted the program last year on the offense. They do bring back some key offensive linemen, but the new look offense will be certainly something to watch, in addition to the secondary, as I mentioned earlier. But like I said, thanks for watching. It's good being back out here again. I want to thank everybody for your support, and take care.